Good evening, folks. My name is Alex at Shallibodhran, and I wanted to make a video, a quick one, because I got a wonderful question on here from John. I'm reading it on the YouTube, pardon me. And John asks, is it possible to get a video with good sound of a single drum before and after taping? Maybe even just some quick audio files so I can quickly, I don't know what that means. I guess it's just know about the sound and how it changes. Yeah, I can give you one right now. I currently don't have any drums that are going to be taped. However, the best thing I can do is show you two drums. I have an untaped drum here, and it's a 16-inch. And I have an 18-inch taped drum. The reason why I'm using these two is that they're both from the same manufacturer. These drums were both donated by Bridget Drums in Ontario, Canada. So, the skins are exactly the same. The only thing that's different is the size of the drums. Apart from that, all the internals are all exactly the same. It's just dimensions that are different. So, first, what does taping actually do? Basically, taping works by interrupting the membrane as it's vibrating. As a membrane vibrates, it sends, those waves throughout the entire membrane. And as it passes over the bearing edge, you get that energy that hits the bearing edge, and in some cases comes back. So you have this one here, an untaped one, and I'm going to give you a few strikes on it. The center, the 1/3, and at the rim. So, and I'm just going to use my finger to tap. This is just the drum as it is untaped. And that's right on the rim. When you compare it to something that is taped, the tape interferes because when you're actually shaking the membrane, you have a profile, so to speak, of the fundamentals of that drum. Basically, you have a whole whack of different sort of peaks and valleys when you measure it out. However, when you add tape to it, you're actually interrupting some of those overtone plays, or the tones coming back off the playing or off the tuning rim. So what you do is you actually dampen the whole thing. So instead of getting the whole bunch, you're actually getting a limited set, a muffling, a compression, if you will. So here we go. Same thing. And again, pardon me, it's a 2-inch bigger drum, so just bear with me. When you're playing right here, there's nothing. It's completely gone. So playing the very end here, there's reverberation back and sustain. This, no, not much in sustain at all. When you're playing in, hear that? One goes wow, wow, because it's battling back and forth between the tuning rim and the center of the membrane. And in this one, you're not getting layers of tone, you're getting a fundamental tone. You're getting the strongest part of the center of the membrane doing ringing through, whereas you're cutting out the overtones. Hard to get that. The center of the drum, and the center of the drum. I'm going to hold these up really close so you can get a good listen. Also, the bigger the drum, the more you're going to hear. Smaller drums don't have as many. That's why they're easier to play. So here's the center. there's a lot of sustain. When you tape the head, you are always going to lose sustain. Don't mind the difference in pitch. This one's been tuned lower. And in all respect, I should have tuned them to be exact to give you a better idea. But what you need to listen for is that if it sounds like you're getting overtones, that's what the non-taping does. Now, what do players do to do that? What they do is they use their bodies to act as suppressors. But here's the thing. Membranes like this around, sound wave travels out pretty much equally until it bumps into something that gets in the way. In the case of the tape, it's able to come back because the tape is applied radially and evenly. A human body applied to here is leaving different areas at different compressions, or rather choking the membrane in a way, in an irregularity. So here, you have all this flexible area that's accessed, but here, it's tighter, and you can't access it, more or less. So, when you have, you can feel this when you roll the drum in and hit it. Nothing, but when you roll it out, the only other difference that you get in this sort of overtone control thing is that in some cases people will put a ring of skin on the underside, a la a tabla sort of style, and you get that a lot from like Faulkner or Darius Bartlett, and Eckerman drums do this too. The tape is really the simplest and easiest way. But if you over-tape a drum, really over-tape it, you get a lot more punch in the tone, but you lose a lot of overtones and you lose a lot of sustain. You're basically adding more on top of it. Unless it's actually laminated in the same way. You're not exactly laminating by using tape on a membrane. It just doesn't work that way. In other cases, and actually you can see the spine line here. That's the other thing. Other makers might use, the spine at different sections or using different thicknesses. The spine allows a little bit of change. Usually when drum makers have a spine down the middle, they're trying to make the sound as homogeneous as possible. But in this case, if it's here, like on my old video of the TR head from Christian Hedvigschak, it's deliberately put there so that there's a bigger area that has a slightly different flexibility to it than the inside. So a drum like that can be played more different ways theoretically in that regard. But that's the thing. If you have a drum that you think doesn't sound good, try taping it. The tape that you may want to use is Super 88 from 3M, so just Google it. You can get it off of Amazon, relatively inexpensive. And when you layer the tape, make sure the tape has a minimal overlap. Generally, you want to start from somewhere in here and sort of tape back. Some people will tape from the back and go to the front. It's totally up to you. Other makers buy much wider tape where they actually layer it and go thump like that, and they just lay a big long strip along that. Hedvigschak makes a few drums that are like that too. You can see on this Bridget drum that I actually have, and maybe you can't because I did an awfully good job. There's a layer here, and then there's a layer here. It's really hard to see because I really did do a very good job taping it. And then you have drums like this. This is a heady, and this is literally, tape that is much wider. And it's layered, and that's it. So, you have to experiment with that. If you want to experiment how you like it or not, go to the dollar store and pick up that electrical tape that's red. It doesn't stick very well, but it'll give you an idea of what the overtones will sound when dampened. Once you find the right amount of distance in the drum, or if you even want to tape it, a lot of people don't want you to tape it. Take it off, it leaves no marks, leaves no residue, and then apply the Super 88 tape. Super 88 tape and tape like that is meant for interior and exterior applications on multiples of surfaces. Generally, though, it's electrical. And for the most part, it makes great sound tape because it sticks incredibly well. The problem is getting it off. But generally how I believe is that once you put the tape on, don't take it off. You really don't want to be dealing with pulling tape off of a drum head. So hopefully this video gives you help. I said it was going to be fast. It's another 10-minute video, but you deserved a better explanation than the last video. So thanks. Thanks for suggesting it, John. Have a good one. Good luck.